Hey, Voices of Distilling listeners. Let's talk about a little something that's at the core of every distillery. I'm talking about yeast. Not just any yeast, I'm talking about the brand of yeast from AD Biotek, Pinnacles Distillers yeast. Now, you and I both know that yeast is the unsung hero of distilling. It's not just about science, they believe in being partners in fermentation. They've got expertise across the board. Whether you're all about wine, a beer enthusiast, or like us, a fanatic for distilled spirits, they're part of the story your distillery is writing, part of the community that is pushing for the best and always eager to help you reach new heights with solutions and technical services that you need. So why settle for just any yeast when you can ferment with the best? Elevate your distilling game, make Pinnacles Distillers yeast your partner in fermentation today. From the heart of America to the corners of the globe, welcome to Voices of Distilling, powered by the American Distilling Institute. Unearth the stories, the passion, and the faces behind every drop. Dive deep into the world where tradition meets innovation with me, your host, Ronell Richards. Let's tap into the spirit of distilling, where every voice is unique, but the heart remains the same. Let the journey begin.
So I am here with Mr. Bill Owens, the founder of ADI, and Bill, I wanted to pull you outside from just a moment and just kind of capture this moment. This is 20 years of a community that you built. What does that feel like?
The best compliment I've had is somebody walked up to me and said, "Thank you for doing this."
Oh, wow.
That's all, just thank you for doing this. And before the Distilling Institute, I had Buffalo Bill's Brewery. And I did that for 15 years, so I know how to mash and make beer. So the next step is to do spirits. And so I had sold the brewery, and I made a trip, put everything in a cardboard box, and drove across America, something I've always wanted to do. And when I got back, I visited a couple of distilleries. I said, there's no Distilling Institute, there's no group. And so I knew there was about 40 or 50 craft distilleries. So I put together on a typewriter the list. And I was sitting in a coffee shop, and this kid with the long hair, "Hey man, I'm gonna go into real estate." And I said, "You don't look like a real estate guy to me." I said, "Watch this." And I just went out and got my car, went to City Hall, did my DBA, American Distilling Institute education, went and wrote a letter to the federal government to get my EIN number to be in business. Then you go to the bank and you deposit $100, and now you're in business. You print some stationery. And you say, "Well, how do you make money?" And I said, "I'll have a conference." So St. George had made some whiskey from me from my beer. And so I went to see Jorg, the owner. I said, "Could we have a conference here?" And he said, "Sure, I don't care." So he had a big enough reception area that I wrote letters again to everybody. It's too expensive to phone long distance. So I wrote letters inviting everybody to come on a Saturday to St. George Distillery in Alameda, California. And I think I had 40 people respond positively. So I said to myself, I know another 20 will show up late. So I went to the place that rents tables and chairs and rented 75 chairs. So that morning we set up the chairs, had 2 or 3 speakers. And when the thing was going on, I counted in the background another 15 people standing around. So it was 86 people came to the first conference. So we did it again in St. George, and then we moved to Huber, and just every year, it just continued to grow. Then pretty soon I wanted to publish, excuse me. When I had the brewery, I did American Brewer magazine. So as soon as I started the Distilling Institute, I wanted to do a magazine again. So I did a Distiller magazine. Then I knew we had to do judging, having tastings. Yeah. So we always started doing that. So it just grew organically. It paid its own expenses. And I think with any small business, it just takes time. And that's why you mentioned the 20 years. It really takes 20 years to gain that kind of word of mouth and being consistent or having really good speakers come. Oh, then I thought I should give an award to the best distillery in the country. So inside of a still, there's a round disc about this big, and most of them called a bubble cap. So I knew where I could get some extra ones that hadn't been used, and we gave the bubble cap award to the best distiller in the country. So that's the most coveted award to get, is to be in the most outstanding distillery distiller, is the Bubble Cap Award.
So that first conference, how many people attended?
86.
86.
Yeah.
So here we are, 20 years, and we're looking at over 2,000.
Yep.
What does that feel like? I can't even imagine. What does it feel
Well,
like to have impacted so many distillers?
I'm able to step back now because Eric runs it. And what feels good is I just have a credit card and I can buy anything I want. At my age, what do I need? Not much. But it really, what feels good about it is to have that sense of community.
Yeah.
And just at breakfast here, I was talking to a guy who has a farm in Baltimore. And the other guy sat next to him is hiring Frank Gehry to design a distillery. So we're at that level.
Yes.
That you're pulling in people that have the money to really build a fantastic distillery. So we have the whole range of people that are distilling in the shed out back who have a DSP, all the way to the guys that have $5 million to pump into a small business. And usually those people have more than one businesses. And they have the money, and you just got to take the punishment of not making money for a number of years. And that's the punishment of being in the business to the community. So this afternoon, excuse me, this afternoon I'm going to be speaking. My first question out, it will be, how many people in this room are over the age of 80? I'll raise my hand. How many doctors, lawyers, and dentists are in the room? See my hands go up. How many people have a college degree? And see how many hands go up. And I promise you 80% of the people here are educated. And so you see a very sophisticated group that go about things in a very professional way, versus if you go to the Association of Brewers Conference, as Ziggy Top beers and tattoos and earrings and nose rings and tongue rings and whatever, a whole different crowd making beer. But in distilling, if you're going to make a really good gin, you're going to go grow your own herbs, you're going to malt your own grain, you're going to put it in the right kind of barrel and really make something interesting.
So I want you to get, I don't want to take you away from this wonderful celebration of your contribution to distilling, but I have one last question for you.
Sure.
So we have just evolved our credo from the voice of distilling to the heart of distilling.
Yeah.
I want to know what that means to you.
I don't think at the heart of distilling, we are the heartbeat of distilling. The voice was via the magazine, was the voice. I just know that on Google, we're number one. And we've been so from day one. And that's what really counts, is I bought that word, distilling.com. And it was for sale for a couple months. And this is 20 years ago. The guy wanted $5,000, and I wasn't going to pay $5,000. Then I got worried. It's such an important word. I got him down to $3,000, and I bought distilling.com. So on Google, I'm number one. And so anybody searching anything about distillation, our website comes up first. And I think that to be first on that level is so important, because the internet and all that stuff has totally exploded. The amount of information has exploded. And I'm sure there are young people sitting in China that want to make whiskey. We know they're in Japan. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Richard Forsythe, and now there's a distillery in Mongolia. So my goal now is I want to go next year to Japan and then to Mongolia to visit a distillery. There's distilleries all over the world on small islands. For example, if you went to St. Helena, where Napoleon is buried, and that island is halfway between Africa and South America, there's a distillery at St. Helena, or St. Helena, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So that spread of having distilleries everywhere in remote locations and in big cities is, to me, really fun, because when I go on vacation, I go to visit distilleries and museums. My hobby is looking at art. So that's what my life's about.
Well, when you go, we'll make sure there's a camera there. There's no greater ambassador for this industry, and I thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As we conclude another episode of Voices of Distilling, we want to extend our deepest gratitude to you, our cherished listeners. Your support is the lifeblood of our show, and we are endlessly thankful for each and every one of you. If you've enjoyed our conversation today, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast. It truly helps others discover these spirited stories. And if you wish to further support our mission, consider becoming a member of the American Distilling Institute. As a member, you'll dive deeper into the world of distilling, gain access to exclusive content, be a part of our dynamic annual conference, and immerse yourself in a community where knowledge and passion converge. Visit our website, distilling.com, for more details on how you can benefit from membership and contribute to the vibrant tapestry of distilling. Until our glasses clink again, remember, every drop has a story, every voice a passion. Raise your glass and cheers to the heart of distilling.